I've been wanting to make this a few videos for a while now, but my head's always exploding with like a lot of thoughts, but for some good reason I've not been able to speak into a camera about it. I found my flow state of talking with people, writing, journaling, chatting a lot with AI to just make sense of what I'm feeling, to just get some additional output. And I've learned that the way I think and how I talk to myself while I think and the way I talk and when I'm talking about something to somebody else are two super different things. I actually find the truth of what I feel, what I want a lot more when I'm actually speaking, which is also like one of the only selfish reasons why I ever started talking in front of a camera. Is when I'm speaking and I'm not thinking is when I actually find the truth about a lot of things. I talk sense to myself a lot when I'm just speaking and not when I'm just sitting by and thinking. I went to New York for a couple of weeks and that was like one of the best things that I've done. One of the only cities where I'm like, oh fuck, I missed it. Although health did take like a big toss, I've plateaued in a way over the past few months with respect to my physical health, financial health, mental health, success. I wouldn't say success, but progress. And I've been jet lagged big time and I was trying to sleep early today morning, but I was like incredibly anxious after a while. And that's when it hit me that, like, I mean, I've realized this, but sometimes the gravity of it only takes like a long amount of time to realize, which is that I alone am responsible for all my failures and wins, for everything I think and feel. Nobody else is responsible for anything at all. Whether it's a plateau, whether it's feeling like I'm stuck in a pattern as a partner, whether it's feeling stuck in a pattern as a builder, as a founder, as anything, as a friend. Like if you just keep seeing yourself in the same loop over and over again. Oh, let me just landscape this actually. If you keep seeing yourself in the same loop over and over and over again, then truth is that you're the only person responsible for it. And a coping mechanism also at large sometimes is to just think that, okay, tomorrow I know I can do it and I will eventually do it. And that makes you feel good for a minute and a half, but then it completely goes away. And then you're just like, hey, like, fuck that. Tomorrow never comes. I know that I'm going to be like incredibly, very at my peak male physique, at my peak abundance mindset with respect to money, have like a sense of purpose, create art, be obsessed, love my family, love everybody around me. But why does that not exist today, right? And you can cope thinking there's progress, you can cope thinking that it takes time, but to be frank, like these are all coping mechanisms and nothing else. And all of these are notes to myself. Today I was like really anxious, couldn't sleep for a couple of hours, so and my head really spiraled a lot. I did have control over a lot of it. I could see some sense in a lot of things. Funny thing is, like 2 years ago when I was dating a person, she was an anxious person, and I never faced anxiety then in life, and I couldn't really understand it or treat it with as much care as I would have if I knew. Funny thing is that even as of today, like maybe I have a hint of what anxiety looks like, but I do not have a hint of like 100 other emotions that I'm yet to feel. So you are yet to validate them, or you are yet to say that, oh, this is real, oh, this is fair. Like maybe it's grief, maybe it's death, maybe it's absolute betrayal, maybe it's a lot of things, right? Like that we cannot seem to understand or respect in other people, but we only understand it when we truly go through them. This anxiety part is just a reminder of the things that I truly do not know, and a very big important reminder to just never ever disregard somebody and how they may feel, how they may think, whatever they're going through, even if you don't understand it. It's very hard. Like I know I'm telling myself this right now, but there are moments when you just are caught up in your own head, in your own ways of thinking, in your own experience, memory. All thought comes from past, all thought comes from memory, all anxiety comes from memory / past / experience. It's essentially all baggage, right? Because none of it exists in real time. Like 95% of the way our brain works is function based on past and memory. And while a lot of people accredit experience for winning, for that hey, he has experience so he knows what he's talking about, sure, like there's a lot of merit, but experience also equates conditioning and like believing that you know what you're doing, you know what you're thinking, you know how the world works. All of that just makes your mind really, really dull. I have a really dull mind, like in some sense, like whether it's degeneracy, whether it's ADHD, whether it's repetitive patterns, whether it's self-sabotage, whether it's false promises, whether it's like the list would go on, because like every third day I really discover something with respect to how my brain's dull and it's not at its peak efficiency, or let alone peak efficiency. It is bound by conditioning, it is bound by functioning from thought and memory and not the present moment. And the times when I'm completely in the present moment are the times when I can truly understand, listen, be there, provide the best solution. Rarely happens for a lot of people. It's truly a skill that you have to learn and build over years, and you will keep oscillating between it so easily. You'll just get sucked out of the present like this. That's all it takes, to be very honest. Because all of a sudden a random memory comes in, some random trauma comes out, some random thought comes in with its own weight, with its own sensation, with its own way of feeling, and that same feeling has existed in you for so long. Funny thing is, the entire spectrum of emotions that you and I both feel are the same. The funny thing is that the entire spectrum of emotions that you and I feel are exactly the same. The way you feel a void, the way you feel uncertainty, the way you feel love sometimes, the way you feel kindness, the way you feel gratitude, the way you felt betrayal, the way you feel fear. Almost practically all human experiences are shared. Maybe I feel it in a form of, say, my best friend doing something to me. Maybe you feel it in a form of your partner or your parents or your sister or your sibling doing something to you. The detail of each experience is always subjective. Like you and I can never truly have that same experience, but objectively speaking, they're the same things. They just have different details, but it's the same emotion to almost everything. And I think we tend to separate ourselves from all of humanity, people around, because only we know what we're feeling, and we obviously do not know what the other person's feeling, right? Like I do not have access to your consciousness, to your being, to know how you may be feeling when I said something like that. But I'm 100% certain that I've also felt something certain similar to that, but in a different context, right? Like in a different way. Somebody probably told me so. And I think the more I try to understand it, it's very hard to separate. Like, your ego essentially like separates you super quickly, right? And I think one of the evil of life is your mind, is your ego, is the voice in your head. And reacting to that voice in your head is where almost all the issues lie. Because again, this is a note to myself, because I've learned this, but it keeps disappearing, this wisdom to know that I'm not the voice in my head, I'm the one listening. The quality of my thoughts do define my life, but the quality of thoughts aren't me. I'm the one who listens. I can be reacting. If I'm consistently reacting to things, then I absolutely have zero control over my actions. I'm just a slave to my ego, and we don't tend to know what our ego comprises of, what it truly deeply wants. It takes a great deal of time. Like sometimes when I'm anxious, I want care, I want attention, I want comfort, I want babying, right? And sometimes like it took me a great deal of time to just realize that, hey, this is what you truly want, Heath, and it's okay. Like there's no shame in admitting that, because for far too long your ego also doesn't want you to accept it. You're like, hey, you're a Heath, you're like a 24-year-old fucking grown man. Do you want to be baby? Do you want comfort? Go fucking fight for yourself. You're the only person responsible for this, etc., etc., etc. But the funny thing is that, okay, the more I realize that my childhood or the way I grew up is where this thing comes from, this inadequacy. And in a lot of ways, like, you could be adequate for your own self. I think in all ways you can be adequate to your own self, but there's a lot of merit to know when you aren't you're falling short and you're inadequate to yourself, and you can be adequate, but to just accept the fact that, hey, okay, I can't do this for myself in this capacity just yet. This does affect me. I do want this. And that can probably like help you calm down, right? Like that helps me definitely just see through it and just be like, oh, this is the fact. Like I'm a human, right? Like I'm going to make mistakes. I have my own set of flaws. I have my own shadow that I do not know a lot about. I function in a lot of ways that don't make sense to me completely at all, because they're completely against my principles or the way I think. The funny thing is, the way I think and the way I am are two different things, right? Like, the way you think is like could be made up, could be you telling yourself things, but there's a saying, right? Like actions speak louder than words. Do you wonder why? This is likely why. It's because like your mind is all thought, and your consciousness, or you truly, the one listening, is the one taking actions, and that defines how you portray yourself to the world, how the world sees you. But anyway, I think over the past couple of weeks, at least, like a couple of canon events which hit me out of the blue, some things that I've never experienced. Great part is I'm in New York, bad part is a lot of things are happening that I do not have control over, or I cannot make, and I'm suffering. Brought me tremendously closer to myself, because I could, for once in life, I used to spiritually bypass a lot in a way where, or I still do, in a way where there are some good feelings and there are bad feelings, right? Like these are the feelings that I want, the feeling of like being omnipresent at one point in time, when you just feel like you've disappeared, you're just looking and you're present and you're just there. The power of that, the power of love, gratitude, that comes, right? And then there's bad feelings, which is hatred, envy, jealousy, self-sabotage, self-criticism, a bunch of things here and there, right? I used to negate some feelings a lot, and I used to idealize some feelings a lot, that, oh fuck, why am I not feeling this way anymore? Where is it lost, right? And obviously, like, I've always known this lesson that nothing, I mean, after Vipassana, I truly learned that everything changes, good, bad, ugly, everything just changes. Nothing is permanent at all, like at all. Whether it's my physical being, whether it's my emotional being, whether it's people, whether it's whatever material success, wealth, etc. it may be. Absolutely nothing's permanent. So by extension, so are your feelings not going to be permanent. But I couldn't understand it, and that when this episode happened, I could truly understand how each emotion truly has its own beautiful place, and it takes a great deal of time. I wouldn't even say emotion, like even your ego has its own sort of place which is beautiful in its own way. So do all your emotions, whether it's love, anger, or contentment, or sadness, or attachment, or insecurities. Everything has its own place, and each of those are beautiful, and each of those are what make you human. It's something that I've just, like, it's been so hard, but every day where I'm stuck with like my thoughts, or when some things happen, eventually I find my way to find this answer again. Like, you know, it's like it just comes to me again. It takes a while. It's not that even these thoughts or even these things stay permanent with me, right? Like, I'll get lost very easily. When it's during instability, you truly do not have control over things. But funny thing is, you're in control. Funny thing is, like, doing anything that you may be doing, you're the only person in control. But it's also easy to lose control. It's super easy to lose control as well. And when you get it back, you're like, hey, I think I'm pretty cool now. One of the strongest, like, things that I've learned is that wherever I am, right, like, I haven't had a stable home for like the last 6 odd months, or a stable stream of income, or so to say an obsession with an idea or a problem that I want to solve, or anything, right? And I was looking for it for far too long, and it would eat me alive, right? Like, why can't you get your shit in order? Like, why do you not have this? Like, it's so simple. Like, why do you just not have it? And it took me a while to realize that my life is exactly the way I want it to be. Because if I've made a lot of dramatic changes in life, so I know I'm capable of all dramatic changes. It's not that I lack the agency. It's the fact that there's a dissonance between what you truly want and what you think you want. I thought I want this, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and I'm eating myself, why do you not have them anymore? Why do you not have them? The funny thing is, like, what I've truly under deep lying wanted, I've had it, right? Like, or I have it. Like, it takes a great deal of time to accept that you are exactly where you want to be. Like, if you do not want to be here, you won't be here. Free will as a concept, as a human being, you do have free will. At a universal cosmic level, you do not have any free will. But at an individual sense, you have free will or agency over your life to be exactly where you want to be and how, right? Like, there's a bazillion stories of people doing the most absurd shit to get out of where they were. And there is nothing different between them and me and you. There absolutely none. As I said, all humans are capable of experiencing the exact same emotions, thoughts, power, energy, God and Satan both, right? Like, all of us. And it's just how the human experience probably is shaped up. But yeah, I realized I'm exactly where I want to be if I do not have abundance of money, if I do not have an identity in a way where, oh, this is what I do and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, this is my purpose, this is what I'm like, this is my clarity over the next few years, this is where I'm going to live, and these are the side quests I want to go on. I definitely have like a lot of ideas on where I want to be and how I want to be, but I am exactly where I want to be. And it takes far too long, because like society or your friends or the internet will convince you of things you want to chase that you probably do not want to chase. Whether it's tech Twitter or whether it was SRCC, like it takes me a while to get out and be like, hey, like, do I truly want this? Like, what do I truly want, right? And then having the courage to actually act on it. I think that's also an equally hard thing, but once you see the truth, courage is just like that agency is out of question. Like, मतलब वो आ ही जाएगा. You do not have to worry about that, because once you see it, once you understand it, like it's no big deal. It's just when there's conflict is when you lose agency, you start having a very dull mind. You lose control over your being. It's when those things happen is when you are just in misery. You're just in a bad mental state. You do not know what's up. You do not know what to do with your life. This is the time, like this is where like 90% of the people are just like, I don't know what I want to do with my life, or I don't know why this is happening to me. Is largely because of conflict. There's a conflict between what you want and what you think you want, and conditioning, because there is a side to you which is true, and there's a side to you which has been told to be true, or which is the way to do things, right? It just takes far too long to realize what's your way of doing things. I still don't know them, to be very honest. All of these are just notes to myself. And yeah, I think discipline, strongest act of self-love, right? I tend to get like hundreds of thoughts through the day which I wish I could document, or like I wish I, like, sometimes I'm just wearing like this one of these recording things that just record me all the time, because I'm telling you, like, I drop so many bombs in conversations that I'm like, wow, like where did that come from? Like I have no fucking idea how I said that, like, or how I understand that. But sometimes like I drop, like in conversations I like truly surprise myself, like beyond explanation, where like whether it's not just about me or life or people or problems or philosophy or startups or ways to solve everything, and I don't think I can like truly think as well as best in isolation as much that I can do while talking. And again, like it took me a great amount of time, because I used to feel like I'm a yapper, I'm a grifter for just the love of talking, or for this, that. Like I've gone through like a very serious part of time where I suppressed that side, because I told myself, I didn't accept myself, or I told myself that that's not right, or that's wrong to feel this way, or you need to completely turn yourself around and switch from being this to that, for you to get to where you want to be. And a lot of that part is true, right? Like I have to do a lot of things dramatically different to get to where I want to be. But I think one of the first parts to actually getting there is to just accept myself and just be like, okay, this is what I am. I am, let's just say, a degenerate. I have attention problems. I tend to definitely not be able to understand other people's emotions, because I get caught up in my head so easily. It's hard to be able to think about other people sometimes. And none of these are great things, by the way, right? Like, and if you think that me saying this out loud is easy, it's not. But I'd rather not hide it, because I'm somebody who finds a lot of power in being vulnerable, like in being real, to anybody, whether it's wins or losses or anything. That I find a lot of strength. I find the God in me when I'm vulnerable, because that's my way of seeing the truth and then acting on it, right? It's not that I'm just gonna be haath baitha ke baith jaunga and be like, oh fuck, right, that's who I am and that's about it now. I don't think so. It's truly something that you have to act on, and something that I definitely have made strides of progress in. A lot of losses teach you things about yourself, about others, about perception. I could go on about perception forever, and sometimes a lot of my friends just tell me that, Heath, you should probably start a podcast, and I often think about what the fuck do I talk about in a podcast. Like, I have no idea at all, and I can't like shoot like content as well as much as I would want, right? Like, because it's just too much effort for me. It's not natural to me. Writing is probably like far more natural to me. So maybe I've been thinking about like, what is an artistic pursuit, an athletic pursuit, and an entrepreneurial pursuit where I can just devote myself for the next 6 months, and I see some things showing up in a way where they have to be like super small. They don't have to be like the most ambitious things in life, right? Like I don't want to like be like, oh, I want to climb, I want to be the first person to do all of this or triathlon in 6 months. None of that, right? Like there's a stepping stone to ambitious goals as well. And I think what we have to build now as of today is just that agency to believe in yourself that you can do incredibly hard things. I've done a lot of hard things. I've also been able to not do a lot of hard things that I've always often promised to myself. So, yeah, I mean, I think probably the artistic pursuit could be two things. Like either it could be like, hey, what if I just talk to people, or I just talked into a camera every day for 10 minutes for the next 1,000 days. What if I ran 5 kilometers for the next 1,000 days? Entrepreneurial pursuit, I do not know, to be very honest. Like, I don't think I'm driven too much by making money. It is definitely a byproduct. It is definitely something my shadow, my ego is deprived of, and I want to be deprived of money, which is the only reason why I do not have like 100 crores or abundance, so to speak. It's just largely a lot about the mindset. I don't think it's about the number at all as much as it's about the mindset, right? But that's okay too. Like, I think solvable problem. Like, I think everything is a mindset game. Almost everything. I think I would want to say everything, because that, as I said, right, like the way you listen to yourself and what you do with it is your mindset, and that defines the quality of everything in your life. That defines like the quality of your actions or everything in life. And I've also learned that it's so easy to be compromised there, and I'm so compromised there, and I have so much strength sometimes in that department, and sometimes I'm just like so compromised and I forget who the fuck was that Heath. Like, and that could be like a week ago, by the way, or that could be like the afternoon sometimes, and I'm just like, now I've accepted that okay, theek hai, hote rahega yaar. Matlab, this is part and parcel of the game. There is no linearity to life. As much as you see linearity in other people, there is no linearity. Like, I think going to New York, or just generally over the past few weeks, or months probably, what I've often seen is that when I just walk by or I'm looking at like 1,000 people at once from some angle POV, let's think about like how all these 1,000 people have been feeling like so much, have so much of baggage, have so much running in their head, have so many conversations with themselves which are probably positive, probably negative. So many of them just truly love. So many of them are so deprived by love. Like, there's so many things that are just absurd to think about sometimes, and they put me in my place, you know, like they just remind me, okay, Heath, like you're one of many, but it's also a single player game, but you're still one of many. Do not give yourself. Like, I think the fight that I'm in is I take myself far too seriously, more than say taking my work seriously in the past few months. And that has also gone up and down, up and down, up and down. Like, there have been times when I've completely forgotten about myself for weeks and days. And I'm just devoted, and there are times when I'm so caught up in my own head that I can't do the simplest of things. Which is why I know I'll be like a horrible employee. Like, I know that there's a simple way to make $1 million in the next 3 years if I wanted to. And that would require for me to be an employee or this or that. But I don't know, like, I think freedom over my time is also a double-edged sword. As much as I want it, I also know that I abuse it, because procrastination comes from having like super high agency and freedom over your time. So I've shaped my life in a way where I have complete freedom of my time. But it's also my Achilles heel, because if I start abusing it, then I definitely abuse it more often than not, right? Like, sometimes I'm grinding through the Sundays, sometimes I'm just working every day for like 45 days, but like at 60% capacity. I'm not even taking a breather, I'm not even taking a good enough break. And yeah, there's a lot that goes on when you completely have control over your time, and when you're truly bored. But the reason why I've signed up for that battle and I don't want to do this, take a job, etc., is because the pursuit of life altogether is to have agency, authority, and freedom over your time, where you are, your responsibilities, what you want to be doing, right? And I think life is too short to be also doing things that you don't want to do for prolonged periods of time. Sure, like if you're in a job and you have to do some tasks that you do not enjoy, or if you're signed up for something for the next few months that you do not want to do, you should still do it, because that also builds you, that also builds strength in you when you just like truly do something well enough that you did not want to do. But at the same point in time, over the net long run, you want to be used, or you want to like completely figure out a system that works for you on how you control your time, how you work, how you travel, where you are, why you are where you are, a lot of things, right? So my point was just that, okay, I think probably 20s is the best time for me to like figure that bit out. Maybe I don't, right? Like maybe I look back and regret and just be like, fuck, I should have like just grinded out, like, and learned how discipline works in my 20s by just doing like 12-hour days in startups and like, you know, like going to work somewhere where I do not have control over my time and other people have control over my time. Maybe that would build a discipline muscle. Like I get all thoughts and sometimes they consume me in a way where that's the right answer, Heath. But better late than never, right? Like I think everything that you do will eventually make sense. A lot of times we want answers or certainty. Like I think the reason why you want certainty is because that just gives a sense of security from what I do not know, from yourself. I think sometimes like just from yourself, because we are too afraid. Like we keep ourselves busy or occupied mentally so that we never have to face ourselves in some deep way, like in a very hard to explain because I felt it. And I've also seen it when I'm occupying myself or keeping myself busy to run away from something. And it's a fucking roller coaster route. Sometimes I'm just like, my mental health would be so much better if I just kept myself occupied 24/7. And I know I can. It's super easy. Like, I don't think it's hard at all. But till when? Till I die, do I just keep myself occupied? Like, I think it's also a skill that you have to like build agency over, is how you can be still. I think stillness is the answer to, I wouldn't say an answer, but it's a skill that just solves a lot of problems in life. Like just stillness, boredom, observation without judgment. A lot of these things, like I think it is one of the reasons why meditation is the biggest moat of all time. Like especially in 2025, like as a human being, I'm not saying as an entrepreneur, as a founder, as a career professional, etc. One of the strongest moats that you can build or skills that you can build is just staying still and quiet and meditate. It will show, yeah, it just has its own benefits. And I think last couple of weeks I haven't meditated at all as much as I would want to. I definitely want to go for another Vipassana as soon as I can. I don't know when that happens, but I definitely wish I can. Because it's divine. Like it's truly so different from how real life works. But yeah, see, like I just feel so much more lighter when I listen to myself and I remind myself of things and beliefs and ideas and truths that disappear when I'm thinking. Because they both come from different places. Like I've thrown, as I said, right, like one is, I think when I'm speaking, it's largely coming not from thought but from a deeper source of my awareness, like just awareness, a thing I cannot touch, feel, place, just omnipresent across the world in you and I. All of us have that awareness, and self-awareness and awareness are two super different things. And I don't even think awareness is the best word. I've come up with like a lot of words in conversations. I've also realized none of them can ever, like it's incompressible, like what this feeling of awareness is like. And when I'm talking, I feel I'm there, and when I'm thinking, I definitely get stuck evaluating my thoughts or getting into a conversation with my thoughts. And some of them are unnecessary. Like I think all the thoughts are unnecessary, to be honest, and definitely when they come with their own weight, because as I said, they come from past and memory, and none of those things tend to do you good. They always tend to make you feel a certain way, and they never leave. That lingering feeling never leaves is because of that. It's because we're still reacting, it's because we're not observing it. The more you observe it, the more you realize that it weakens, because it does not have a fucking spine, right? Like past and memory cannot be accessed. I'm not saying that I'm above any of it. Like I have, like they look, I'm saying they're spineless because I know they're spineless, but I also know the weight of them and how hard it is to deal with them and everything, man. Like I just know all of it, but I also know that they're spineless. Like they hold no purpose, and the more I understand to just observe them without feeling, reacting, or wanting it to end, or trying to just escape it, the weaker it gets, because it's feeding off of you. The more you interact and react with it, the more it gets fed. And the more you do not, like, you can starve it off. It's very simple. It's very hard to be equanimous. It's one of the eightfold paths of the Buddha. It's a part of Jainism. It's a part of a lot of like Eastern, Western philosophy. A lot of it is just about equanimity, whether it's Gita, whether it's the Bible. I think all literature in general, or all like a lot of stories of the past, like tend to a lot of like literature that's studied for decades and decades has this equanimity, or this sense of everything being impermanent, or a lot of these ideas that just come to you, but you do not know how to word them, you do not know how to explain them. I just think that's how all experiences are. Funny thing is that all experiences just work that way. We can never truly explain how we feel and how we think to others, to the T. You can try using the best words, whatever language you want to use, but all communication is nothing but like a poor translation of how you truly feel. And which is why sometimes I convince myself that it's okay if people don't get you, man, because A, it takes a long amount of time to get your own fucking selves, and B, you can never truly communicate and they can never truly understand, because if you are going through something they don't understand, which is very normal, how do you expect them to know it? But it's the insecurities which want us to be heard and validated and felt comfortable with or felt sane with. There's a lot there. But yeah, it's been a revelation the past few weeks and months. And I don't know. And I just think this is just how life is largely going to be. I do not think it ends. You just grow better. Probably like one thing that I want to truly get better at is building systems around who I am, how I function, around art, athleticism, and work. It's a great process of discovery, and when you're full of garbage, it takes a long amount of time to like truly discover yourself. But it's okay. Like I think I'll get there. All of us will, and I wouldn't say get there. It's just about you'll just keep finding deeper truths, and whatever truth you find, whatever revelation you come by, you try to act on it, and then you come across another revelation, and then it just goes on till you just don't wake up one day. I think that's just truly how you have to look at life. Is there's unlimited knowing about your own self, let alone the world, let alone everything. There's unlimited knowing, and the reason why it's so expansive is because you're not truly just trying to know yourself, you're by extension trying to understand all of humanity, all of like the 8.5 billion people out there. It's just how it works. And I think because there is no difference between you and I at all. It's just my experience that isolates me into believing that I'm separate, that I'm unique, that I'm different, that I'm like this and they're not like this, etc. But I don't think there's, and I go through it too, but at the end of the day, I keep reminding myself that it's not like understand your ego. I wouldn't say like don't try to like even wanting to like dissolve your ego or completely like move on from your ego is a desire of your ego. Things will happen, good, bad, ugly. I think probably next time like I'm gonna be like more specific with these videos. Like I think I just ramble on. But I've tried scripting, man. It fucking sucks. Like I don't think I can script for fuck's sake. Like I cannot look into a sheet and just read it through or follow order. I cannot sense like somehow I cannot put like order to that chaos. But I think I should be, वरना ऐसे ही करते रह जाऊँगा 100 प्लेटफॉर्म पे कुछ ना कुछ बक कर रहा हूँ. But yeah, anyway, I hope all of y'all have a great day, and I'll see you all sometime soon with better beliefs. Bye.